Stick around to the end of the video where I'll show you how I process my favourite infrared image from the day's shoot. What happens when you slap a black bit of glass on the end of your lens, point the camera somewhere towards the sun and hope for the best? Well, spoiler, you might actually like the result, and by the end of this video you might even want to give it a go yourself. Morning everyone, welcome back to the vlog. So a bright sunny day like today with blue skies is perfect for infrared photography, and you don't need a converted camera to go out and try it, but there are definitely some trade-offs. All you need is your camera and a filter, and these are perfect conditions for giving it a go. Infrared photography reveals a hidden world where foliage turns white, blue skies go really dark, and if you're photographing water, it can really start to look like glass. Now I really love this old birch that's just in front of me here with the sort of wee branch that comes out into the sky. It's lovely, but for this shot what I'm really interested in is the one behind, with the draping foliage coming down with that blue sky behind, and that really is our perfect subject when we're looking at infrared photography. It's going to be that green foliage that's going to go white and those blue skies that are going to darken that really interest me. So I'm using a 720 infrared filter, magnetic filter sent to me by Maven filters. And what the filter does is it blocks visible light and only lets infrared light in through to the sensor. And it really is a cost-effective way of trying infrared photography without going to the expense of having your camera converted. Now, because that filter blocks out so much light, you really need a long exposure, anything from around about 10 to 30 seconds. So a tripod is a must. And that filter will stop your camera focusing. So it's best to focus without the filter on first, set up your shot, and then put the filter on afterwards. So I'm really struggling to get into a position here where those branches of the tree aren't overlapping the trees behind in my background. I've managed to sort of separate this side, my right-hand side, okay, but my left-hand side is just touching those trees. I'm going to try and get a bit closer and look up a little bit higher if I can, but I don't want to distort the image too much that I'm sort of shooting right up into the air. I did like this sort of old birch behind with its old twisted branches just filling that gap down there. I'll probably lose that if I get lower, but anyway, I'll try a couple of different compositions and see how that goes. But I'm really interested to see how that's going to convert when I get it back onto the computer, just how that lovely green foliage is going to go white punched against that dark sky. So I've got around about a 15-second exposure, f8, ISO 200. And as I said earlier, because that filter's blocking out so much light, it is a long exposure. So I am going to pick up some movement in that tree. There's very little wind, but I can see those branches moving around. But I don't mind. I think that'll add just a wee bit of extra interest to my shot. I can just see, actually, just coming past now, you might see it as a bird of prey just flying behind the tree there, which obviously I'm not going to get on a 15-second exposure, but maybe the film camera picked it up. So what are the pros of using a filter? Well, first of all, it's low cost. Secondly, you don't have to get your camera modified. And thirdly, it's a great way of just starting to see if you enjoy that style of photography and experimenting to see the sort of images that you can come away with. So what are the cons of using the filter? Well, first of all, you've got those long exposures. I mean, even on a day like today, I'm finding it difficult not to get any movement in the trees. And secondly is the focusing. Because the camera doesn't focus through the filter, each time you're setting up the camera and focusing, you need to take the filter off, change your exposure, focus in, put the filter back on. So another con is that a lot of modern digital DSLR cameras have what's called a hot mirror filter built in, which basically blocks UV and IR light to help get a more accurate color. So you're not going to get the same results using a filter as you are with a modified camera. But going back to the pros, it's still a great way of just trying it out and experimenting to see the results that you can get. So I think this is going to make a nice shot. What I've done is I've got a group of birches, and just in the middle of them are a couple of very small ones, but they've got some green leaves just dead sort of central of my image. And of course, with the infrared filter, those green leaves are going to be bright white. So I think it'll be quite an interesting shot. And that's what I really love about trying out this infrared photography, is that you don't really know until you get it back. I mean, yes, the more that you do it, the more you're gonna sort of understand how that light works, how the light being blocked is going to affect your shot. But it's kind of exciting actually photographing and then not quite knowing what's going to work well and what isn't until you get it back on the computer. Maybe a bit like in the old days where we used to photograph in film and you didn't know if the shot was any good until you got it back through the post. This is one of a number of beautiful ash trees that are just along the top of the hills here. There's about 4 or 5, so I'm going to see if I can photograph one of these. But let me know if you've tried infrared photography or if it's something that you've just been curious about but haven't jumped into yet. And if you've got any useful tips, they're always helpful. So this shot I'm setting up for now, you have this amazing ash tree with its branches sort of disappearing out into the sky here. It's going to be a beautiful shot. Now, I'm really not pushing the infrared filter here to its limits because there isn't really a lot of green foliage that's going to have that real nice bright effect. What it will do though is darken down that blue sky. and really sort of balance out the tree against the background, really sort of make it punch out. I'll have a wee bit of grass just at the front that will be white, perhaps looking like it's almost got a touch of snow on it. But I really want to just isolate the beautiful shape of this tree set against the skyline there with as little distraction as possible. Now, with this shot, I could definitely achieve the same shot putting on a polarizer and darkening down the sky, but I've got the infrared filter. It will darken down that sky. There are a few leaves in amongst that ash tree, which maybe will have that same effect and will sort of go white, but we'll see when we get it back. I've seen these ash trees quite a few times and always thought it'd be nice to come up here with a little bit of mist and a bit of warm morning light. Anyway, we'll set this shot up and get the image, and well, if it turns out any good, here's the final shot.
So let me show you how I process my IR images using Adobe RAW and Photoshop. You can see that when the image first opens, we're looking at a red image as shot through the filter in RAW. And the first thing I'm going to do is convert the image to black and white. Then I'm going to adjust the highlights and the shadows to bring out the contrast in the image. Now at the moment the image is fairly bright, and I'm going to bring the exposure down by dropping the red value in the black and white mixer. I just find I get a better result than just bringing down the exposure doing it this way. Now I'm going to add just a small amount of sharpening, really just to help to define that contrast. Right, now I've got the image open in Photoshop, I'm going to adjust my image mode to RGB. And now to really bring out the contrast, I'm going to adjust my levels to bring out those real highlight and shadow areas. By zooming into the tree, it allows me to focus on the bright areas of the leaves and the shadows in the trunk. Holding the Alt key down on the PC, I'm going to bring up the highlights so I can just see when those leaves start to clip. And then I'm going to do the same with the shadows in the trunk area. Now all I'm going to do is use the burn tool to knock back the brightness in the grass and that white cloud behind the tree, which I think just catches the eye a little bit too much. And that's it. A fairly straightforward, quick edit for a dramatic image. Really just focusing in on contrast.
So if you're looking to explore the surreal world of infrared photography without spending lots on converting your camera, then a bright sunny day like today is a great place to start with a filter, and those results can really be quite magical. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the vlog. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please click the subscribe button. And I think that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Thank you so much for watching.